Welcome back to the DRO Bets channel. It is week 7 of the 2025 MLS season, and I said last week I didn't like the board at all. Well, this week I absolutely love the board. I've got 6 plays, my first 2-unit play of the season. So let's quickly look back at week 6 and then let's get right into it. All right, it is Sunday night as I am recording this. Week 6 has just wrapped up. We finished with our first true losing week of the season. I said before the video last week to tread lightly, didn't like the board. We went 2-3 overall, which actually to me, it could have been a lot worse and it doesn't feel that bad. So our winning plays were Orlando City draw no bet at plus 115 and the Austin FC St. Louis under, which was even money. And then we lost 3 1-unit plays. So we dropped about 0.85 units, nothing crazy in a week that I don't think anything really went as expected in a lot of matches. As I said, there was a lot of uncertainty. The Vancouver over, I think I got caught holding the bag on that one. I'm going to stay away from Vancouver for a while. Chicago just needed 1 goal. San Jose, we needed 1 goal to get us that winning week. So no big deal. 2-3 overall, about 0.85 units dropped, still up on the year. So as I said, 6 plays this week. Our first 2-unit play, that's going to come at the end. It is the last game I'm playing of the weekend, and I do these in chronological order. So let's get into it. 6 plays, week 7. Now, real quick, as I get into these plays, I want to plug the 2 sites that I am using when I'm referring to expected goals and other numbers like that. You're going to want to check 2 sites. Football Reference, they are the best one for, stat or passing and shot creating actions and things like that. They have expected goals as well. Their numbers are good on that, but they're not as searchable. And then for expected goals, also when I note it, a lot of times I use American Soccer Analysis, ASA. I'll be linking to both of these sites in the comments in the video. So check those 2 sites out for yourself. They're great sites. So much data. You want to be checking on them, but all these numbers I wanted to plug. I haven't plugged them so far this season. Football Reference and then American Soccer Analysis. Now, our first out of 6 plays this weekend is going to be on the very first kickoff of the weekend, 1:30 p.m. Central Time, Charlotte FC hosting Nashville SC, and we are going to go over 2.5 goals coming in at minus 110. Now, those of you that have followed the channel so far this year know that Charlotte is not a team I ever really like to bet on because they're one of these teams. They can be pretty unpredictable at times. They can win any game 3-0 or lose any game 3-0. But when I saw that over 2.5 was playable at minus 110 for 2 of the best attacking teams in MLS over the last month, I just had to jump on it. Now, first off, I love this one coming off of a Charlotte loss. They fell 2-0 last week at Colorado, and there were a lot of chances created in the match on both sides. Colorado finished theirs. Charlotte didn't finish theirs. Charlotte is 5-1 coming off of a road loss, coming back home, going back to start of last season when Dean Smith took over. And then according to American Soccer Analysis, these are 2 of the top 9 teams over the last month. I love that their stats on ASA are searchable over the last month or so, because as we get into the season, you don't want to be counting stats from like 3 months ago that don't even matter. Over the last month, these 2 teams are top 10 in the league for expected goals allowed. And then Nashville actually is the second top team for expected goals scored over the last month. They're creating a ton of chances. Hani Mukhtar is doing a lot right now. Qasem, they have a lot of different options, and they're coming off of that loss to Cincinnati last week in a very frustrating loss. So I like Nashville to be really going out there trying to score some goals. And then Charlotte, as I've already mentioned, they don't get shut out very often at home. So if you're giving me this at minus 110 when I feel like it should be minus 150 or so, I'll take it. All right, now for the second play of the weekend, many books will give you 2 weeks of games in advance. And normally I hate doing that because you don't want to bet one game without knowing the result of the previous game, if there's injuries, ejections, etc. But truth be told, I have had this play on the books for about a week now, and it's backing Atlanta United to beat FC Dallas. And the official play is going to be Atlanta United money line and over 1.5 goals coming in at minus 105. I just feel like this is a fantastic spot for the Five Stripes hosting FC Dallas this week. And they're coming off a crazy come from behind 4-3 win over NYCFC. So they're staying at home. This is the middle of a 3-game homestand. They haven't been on the road. So I love that for them. And then what you really need to do here is look at the points. And you see FC Dallas has 2 more points than Atlanta, but look at who they've played. Dallas' season through 6 games really is kind of a tale of two sides. They've played three really good teams and they've played three really bad teams. So the three bad teams they've played: Sporting Kansas City, Houston, and then RSL, who are down to 10 men after like 15 minutes in that match. They won all three of those games. They destroyed those teams. But those teams have a negative 18 combined goal difference so far this year. They've played three good teams: Vancouver, who they lost to at home; Chicago, who they lost to at home; and Colorado, who they drew 3-3 on the road when Colorado was in the middle of CONCACAF Champions Cup. I'm not saying this to disparage Dallas. Look, in MLS, you just need to win the games you should to make the playoffs. But now we're getting near even money for them to go to Atlanta and get a result with over 1.5 goals. I don't think this finishes 1-0. That's why I love the number. Look at who Atlanta has played. Their last 5 games: Charlotte, Red Bulls, Miami, Cincinnati, NYCFC. These are all teams I would put in the top half, probably right around there, of the MLS standings. And according to ASA, they've actually underperformed their XG by about 2.5 goals over this span. So when you're talking about an Atlanta team that's been playing really good teams and getting okay results, and a Dallas team that seems to be beating the bad teams and losing to the good teams, I think this is one where Atlanta could win big. So I like Atlanta in the play we made: Atlanta money line and over 1.5 goals at minus 105. And I also like a sprinkle on Atlanta minus 1.5 goals on the spread, coming in at plus 190. Third play of the weekend, we are going to CF Montreal, who are traveling to the Columbus Crew, another 6:30 p.m. Central Time kickoff. And we are taking CF Montreal plus a goal, coming in at plus 115. Now, we faded Montreal last week. They burned us. We've actually backed them at this +1 before this season. And I think that was a push against Minnesota. But we're going to go back to this play because it's a +1 spread at plus money, which has been something that's been working out pretty well for us overall. Now, I get why the number is this way, in the sense of Columbus has been getting results this year. But let's look at Montreal. They have yet to win a game. They fired their coach, but Marco Donadell came in last week, the interim coach, and he got back to the basics. He moved them to the 4-2-3-1. They had Bryce Duke at the number 10, Caden Clark on the outside, and they played so much better. They were composed. They limited to Chicago to one chance over .1 XG. And this is a Chicago team that we know how well they've been doing offensively. So it looks like they're kind of at least back to a spot where they're not going to get blown out or anything like that. And then you're telling me Columbus has to score 2 goals for us to lose this play. Columbus has done that once in the last 5 weeks, last weekend against DC, but the second goal they scored was a complete fluke. It was a .02 XG shot off the foot from Rossi that deflected and looped over the goalkeeper. I don't see Columbus being able to create the chances that they need to create to score multiple goals in this one. And even if they do get a couple of goals, I think Montreal can get one. So if you're giving me, again, that +1 at plus money, I'm going to take it. CF Montreal +1 goal, plus 115 is the third play. Play number 4, and I almost made this one a double unit play as well, but I didn't want to go too crazy this week. I already like the other one a little bit better, but this is Orlando City versus Philadelphia at Subaru Park, kicking off at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, and this is going to be both teams to score and over 2.5 goals, coming in at minus 115. Now, I cannot for the life of me understand this number. Are people even watching the games right now? I get anything can happen in any game, but these are a Philadelphia team and an Orlando team that have been two of the best goal-scoring teams in MLS so far this season. Now, Philadelphia's cooled off just a little bit like in actual goal scoring, but they've still been creating chances. They created a ton against Inter Miami last weekend. Probably didn't deserve to lose that match, if we're being honest. And the only match they've had this season where they didn't create a ton of chances and where this play shouldn't have hit, it's hit in 4 out of the last 6, probably should have hit in 5. The only one where it didn't was that St. Louis game where both teams were ravaged by international absences. You can't take that into account. There have been 10 goals scored in their 3 home games. And then you've got Orlando coming in, who we cashed on last weekend with that DRO Bet at the Galaxy. This play has hit in every single Orlando game this season, and somehow it is minus 115. Obviously, anything can happen in a match, but the odds do not dictate the chances of what I think is likely here. These are two of the top five teams in expected goals over the last month, according to ASA. One team who creates a bunch of chances at home, top five in home XG, and Orlando, who is top five in road XG. So I just can't pass it up. Philadelphia Union, Orlando City, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals coming in at minus 115. On to our fifth play of the weekend. This is going to be in the Sporting Kansas City versus St. Louis City match, kicking off at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. And we are going St. Louis City, draw no bet, coming in at plus 135. Now, I don't think this play needs a whole lot of explanation behind it. I'm just looking at this again and saying, where are they getting this number from? I get that St. Louis City has not been amazing in recent weeks. They've lost their last two games 1-0. I throw the Philadelphia result out the window because, as I just mentioned, the international absences. And then let's look at their match this last week again against Austin. We played the under, and in last week's video, I said, no Edward Lowen for St. Louis City. That's taking their engine right out of their midfield. He's back this weekend. And then let's just look against anyone in MLS getting plus 135 to not lose to Sporting Kansas City. Obviously, if it's a draw, we get our money back. In what universe is that possible? This is an SKC team that the fans are sending out manifestos calling for the head of Coach Peter Vermes. They've allowed multiple goals in their last 5 games. And then again, St. Louis City, they've got Edward Lowen back. And this is a rivalry game. St. Louis is really not going to want to lose 3 games in a row. There's not really much travel involved here. They've won at Sporting Kansas City before. Plus 135, draw no bet. I've got to take it. And finally, the first 2-unit play of the 2025 MLS season. 2 p.m. Central Time, Sunday kickoff at Yankee Stadium. We are going with Minnesota United versus NYCFC. Both teams to score and over 2.5 coming in at even money. Now, first off, let me say, as just an MLS fan in general, this is a game I'm absolutely fascinated by because you've got a Minnesota United team who is 4-0-2 in their last 6 games. They're playing fantastic. They're near the top of MLS in expected goals, and they're doing it while having the lowest possession by far in the league. They have 35% possession overall this season. That's 5% below any other team and 10% below all but 2 teams. So how does that affect this game and why I am making it a 2-unit play? NYCFC has, as I said, the lowest possession in the league. They have the fewest passes completed in the league, but they lead MLS in through balls completed. You know exactly what they want to do. They're 7th in live passes leading to shots. If you are last in MLS, but you are 7th out of 29 teams in live passes leading to shots, you're turning the ball over in midfield and you're getting it forward immediately. What does NYCFC struggle with? They have allowed the most through balls in the league with 18, 4 more than the LA Galaxy, who have the second most, and we know what their defense is like. And NYCFC has allowed the 4th most live passes leading to shots. So exactly what Minnesota United looks to do is the thing that NYCFC struggles with the most. And let's take this one step further. Where is the game being played? Yankee Stadium, the exact stadium that you want to play in if you want to be able to turn the ball over, get one pass behind the back line, and get your forwards, Tani, Aloisei, and Yeboah in behind the back line. I love the way this game sets up. I'm just a tiny bit worried that NYCFC is like, okay, if you're going to give us the ball, we'll just hold it literally the entire match. But this is an NYCFC team that has not been shut out. They weren't shut out at Yankee Stadium last season. They have 2 goals in each of their first 2 matches at Yankee Stadium this season, while they still gave up a lot of shots to the opposition. Both of those games ended 2-1. So I just feel like both teams to score over 2.5. It's at even money. Like, I thought this was going to be minus 160, minus 170. It's my first 2-unit play of the weekend. And I'm also going to be sprinkling Minnesota United over 1.5 goals. I think it's like plus 175. I also like that one, but that is going to be my first 2-unit play. Both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at Yankee Stadium. So those are my 6 plays of the weekend. You might notice we're missing an old favorite, the Austin under 2.5, which is still plus money. We saw in the Portland-Houston game, they're just too spooky. Portland scored 3 goals at Colorado last week in a place that's tough for a team to score goals, and then they put a few back today. I feel like I got caught holding the bag with Vancouver over this last week. I don't want to get caught holding the bag on the Austin under. I'm just going to let it slide for a week. We'll be going back to it pretty soon. Don't worry. But those are going to be my 6 plays of the weekend. Give me the thumbs up. Give me the subscribe. I got about half of the game's plays, but if I missed anything on this board, let me know in the comments. We've got quite a few days to prepare. I wanted to get this out early because I think the numbers on these are going to move. So I wanted to get it out now. We've been a little bit late getting out the videos this week, and I don't think we got the best of a lot of our numbers. So that'll wrap it up for the week. We will be back with check the Twitter account, of course, this week for maybe some Triple C CONCACAF Champions Cup plays, and of course we will be back. We didn't do it last week, but we'll be back with our player props next week as well. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.